There is so much happening all at once. And if we are not careful, we truly can get caught up focusing on things that are not benefiting us in any way. But right now, a lot of people will agree that our mental health is very, very important. When we're growing up, it is instilled in us. If you are fortunate enough to find yourself in the right household, it is instilled in us to be kind to others, to show compassion, to be loving to our neighbors. And it is rarely brought to our attention that the world that we are going to be stepping into is not filled with individuals that think the same way. A lot of people who grow up in religious households, and we're talking about the religions that emphasize on mankind living righteously. Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism. I'm sure there are a whole lot of other names, but we know Christianity, Islam, and Hinduism with Buddhism are the most popular. If you find yourself growing up in one of these households, it is instilled in you to love your neighbor as you love yourself, to do good unto others. It is even written in one of the scriptures that it is better to give. So these ideologies are instilled in us, but rarely, very, very rarely, is it brought to our attention that the world that we are stepping into, while we are young, that the world that we are stepping into is not filled with individuals who think the same. It is a rude awakening. A very, very rude awakening. When you step out into the world embodying these higher frequencies, only to be met by conditioned souls that believe that they ought to receive all of these divine attributes from you, sometimes even manipulatively, and in turn they reward you with evil. And their thought process is you should give without even expecting anything back in return. This is the type of environment that we have found ourselves in, my dear brothers and sisters. I am the common denominator, and y'all have just tuned into my spiritual friend in need. Today, this was really weighing in on me, and I said, nah, I gotta step out and talk to y'all about this. Let us really, this is, when you come to my channel, you're gonna get the honest, transparent truth. I am not plugged into no physical sources that you would have to be worried about my intentions. I am backed up by one, the Most High, bless his name, truly. And I will always come to y'all with nothing but truth, because I have nothing to gain from y'all. If you reciprocate what I'm doing with love, to God be the glory. But let's get to it. We are living in a world in which people deliberately, intentionally reward kindness for wickedness. And yet the chosen ones, the righteous ones, the ones that say yes, despite the fact that this ignorance is weighing in on us, and to a certain extent, it might even dent our hearts. to the point where we might even start to react just exactly how the world has been conditioned to act. But somehow by the Spirit of the Most High, that we finally got to realize within ourselves, we're still able to keep going. We're still able to hold the light despite the fact that it is very windy. And the light is still shining bright. And we are marching on in the world. A world in which the utilization of dark psychology negatively upon the inhabitants and the citizens of this planet, it seems to be a normal thing. Then we start to realize, is this the type of reality that we are truly saying is good for us? No doubt a lot of people don't want to have children. Some of them know the personalities that they possess, and they don't want their children to copy those personalities from them. Some of them just realize the wickedness in the world, and they don't want to bring up children in such an environment because they see how their good deeds get taken advantage of. Is this the type of world that we are saying we really want to create? It almost seems like those who enjoy doing evil don't want evil done to them, but every single person that they come across that they might view as vulnerable becomes a target, and they render them a victim. Is this the type of world that we are saying we want to all live in? We have to start being honest. When are we going to graduate? When are we going to graduate, my people? When are we going to be honest with ourselves? Truly. When are we truly going to graduate? White, black, Mexican, Russians, whatever. We're all caught up in this bubble of thought. And yet we seem to somehow just coexist in the midst of it. And I even hear people say stuff like, well, evil is necessary for balance. This is the type of ideology that people have as they're living on this planet. A planet that was designed with love and grace. A planet that we walk on and we plant seeds and it gives us food to eat, and we don't have to pay the Creator. We even disrespect the source of this wisdom daily. This same planet that churned us out in the flesh. We manifest ignorance, projecting it even to the very highest degree in this day and age, my people. Truly, are we not feeling bad yet? Are we not tired yet? We gonna point fingers, but I'm saying we start to look now at ourselves. So we could really look at ourselves in the mirror and nod and say, yeah, we've accomplished something by taking advantage of hardworking people. And we really feel good about ourselves. Whether you are religious or not, whether you believe in God or not, whether you believe in karma or not, you subdue your mindset to certain processes because you start to say things like, oh, well, you don't even know what I had to deal with growing up. But there comes a point in time when truly we must be honest with ourselves. Is this the type of world that we really enjoy living in? Is this the type of world that we say is good for those coming up after us? Is this the perfect example that we are setting for the younger ones? I'm saying this for the younger ones because I know what I had to deal with growing up. When you don't really have all the advice that you need and you have to learn from the word of the Most High. Subject yourself to isolation so you can truly get to understand the word and understand your nature, to see how you can coexist with individuals who do not care even about their souls. Why would they care about yours? You start to see the truth. It's clear. Is this the type of reality that we are saying is conducive for us? Are we not going to be honest with ourselves? Oh my God. This weighed heavy on me. And I'm even just feeling terrible for the younger ones coming up, because we have to start to let them aware. If this is the type of reality that we're saying is okay, then maybe we truly have to start teaching the kids that this world is a world in which human beings intentionally harbor wickedness, intentionally harbor evil within themselves. And they deliberately ignore that which is right. And they're going to blame it on their childhoods, blame it on their environments, even though they do have the mental capacity to project love, unity, healing, forgiveness in their various communities. Tell me I'm lying. So we have to start to educate our kids. We have to start to educate the younger ones to know the reality of the world that they're going to be growing up in, to know the demons that they have to face from a very young age, so they don't have to get older and then shift into isolation because they realize, wow, my whole life I was taught to love my neighbor. My whole life I was taught to love my brothers and my sisters. But then you get to see that the energy that is being reciprocated back at you when you project these divine powers, I would call it, because love is a superpower. Apparently these days it is. When you get to see how when you project pure, genuine intentions upon your own people, upon what you would call humankind, and you see the level of vibration where they at and what they're projecting at you, you start to wonder. But then I have a message for the righteous and for the wicked as well. As for the righteous, hold your ground, because it is already written that the righteous will inherit the earth, no matter what it is that's coming at you from whatever angle. And also remember, you are more than flesh. So if the wicked and the evil are choosing to really side with ignorance, they're choosing to say they want to knock out the light and remain in darkness, then we must unify the light and let us see how far this darkness could go. Because this planet, in truth, cannot accommodate both. I'm sorry. It cannot accommodate both. We must really start to prepare ourselves in spirit, because it seems like that is the energy of the times that they're projecting upon the masses in this day and age. So we must be honest with ourselves, wherever we at. Be honest with yourself. Are you choosing to stand within yourself for that which is righteousness? And we're talking about down to the T. You go in, you do the shadow work with your candlelight. That way you're being guided by the light, not just doing shadow work in darkness. And you keep your eye focused on that word that is meant to purify a soul. Then you become one, a conduit for the higher force of transformation. We're talking about undergoing the death phase of the ego self and transitioning into the reality of the Christ self that we truly are. Our elder brother Yeshua came in and laid the proper example for all of us. And if he is to return, it is very important that he returns to find out that we were working on ourselves in conjunction with the word that he left for us in truth and in spirit. We ought to not be afraid of wickedness, because we know where that comes from. People who deliberately deny and refuse to do the real work. So they subject themselves over to carnalities to the fullest degree, denying the word that is absolutely meant to transform them, but yet posing to be in the image of that which is already fully transformed under light. And we see it clearly, my dear brothers and sisters. If y'all are resonating with the light in this day and age, you see it clearly. But it is not an issue for us to be afraid, like I said. Neither is it one for us to run away, because the perfection of the Christ within us has to come to a completion. Every disciple, upon being perfectly taught, will be like the master. But my main concern is for the younger ones, because like I said, I know, and we all do know what it's like growing up. So we are going to have to choose if we truly want to keep on playing the devil's game, thinking that we're going to win in the end, or we completely surrender to the Almighty I Am, the Most High, and stand with righteousness and build a righteous planet. Even if it means that we have to bring back the laws of Ma'at. Even if it means that we have to follow the laws of Ma'at. If that's what it has to be, then maybe that's what it has to be. But I do know that good things come about because people decided to do good. Not because people decided to say whatever, it is what it is. Well, it just seems like it's evil's time. Well, the scales got to balance. That's the type of ideologies and philosophies that we've subjected our frequencies to. Forgetting that that attitude is a vehicle that is carrying about the frequency of that which we truly are. So if that's the energy that we are saying we want to project in our environment, once we get the karma of that back, because no matter how many goats you slaughter to appease whatever deities that you're working with, whatever cows or human sacrifices you might decide to go ahead and spill all that blood thinking that you're going to be able to stop the karma that's coming for you, you will get to realize that nobody dictates to the supreme Almighty I Am, the supreme personality of the Godhead. My thing is, if we're already in this house, why not do the best we can to coexist in love, given the fact that we're going to have to drop this? And I know there are those who are planning to upload themselves into devices to live forever. If that's the path that you've chosen, then so mote it be, right? So be it. But we're saying for those people who appreciate the divine physical human form, the projection, and they're grateful for it, and they know it is important to abide by the laws that protect righteousness, then we must project the thoughts that are gonna maintain this harmonization through our actions. Yahshua emphasized forgiveness. Yahshua emphasized repentance. Emphasized of all of them love. It beats my imagination that the wicked who perpetrate diabolical actions upon others don't want the same done unto them. And then I wonder, why not just subject yourself to the light? Why not? My dear brothers and sisters, interesting times, but it is interesting because we could view this as the grand movie of life. And whatever character you're deciding to play, especially in these days, it's all upon you, and it's also going to dictate how far you're going to go. Because we know this game is already scripted. Oh yeah, it truly is. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We're going to cap it at that. I don't want this video to be too long. Like I said, this was just something on my mind today. And I said, nah, I got to step out and drop it. Please do subscribe to the channel and click the notification button. That way you could, stay updated with all the data that I'm going to be dropping and sharing with y'all. I really appreciate y'all. Stay under the umbrella of love. Until next time, thank you.